What is good, y'all? Welcome back to the Hero Pro. Welcome back to a brand new video. We are here. We are back, and the Miami Heat have officially selected their draft pick for the 2024 NBA draft. Kel'el Ware out of Indiana. Welcome to Miami. Very good pick, man. I'm gonna talk about this pick more. Make sure y'all leave a like, subscribe, and comment down below. Let's get this video up to 1K likes, man, or 1K views. I mean, 1K likes would be great too, but 1K views for sure. Kel'el Ware out of Indiana is the pick now. There was a lot of different options that he could have gone with. You know, when the board was falling, there was a couple of guys that I really wanted. I really wanted Devin Carter and Bub Carrington. Unfortunately, they went 13 and 14 respectively. Then after that, it was Connect and Tristan Da Silva, who were the best available. But the Miami Heat said, you know what? We're going to address our size issue. We're going to go out and get Kel'el Ware, a legit 7-foot big who can protect the rim. He has shooting upside. He can run the floor. He can play next to Bam Adebayo in the front court, who just, by the way, got extended today by the Miami Heat for 3 seasons. We have a lot to talk about. Mainly, we're going to be talking about this pick. We got to talk about Jimmy Butler, the news as well, the Bam Adebayo extension. But just the pick in general, man. As somebody who's watched Kel'el Ware from when he was in Oregon, him and Derek Lively actually were like, I remember him and Derek Lively, it was a back and forth on like draft social media, like draft Reddit and draft Twitter. Like people were talking about, oh, Lively versus Ware last season, who's better? And I was actually team Kel'el Ware because I loved his ability to space the floor. Now, Kel'el Ware then transferred. He did not declare for the NBA draft last season. He transferred from Oregon to Indiana. There were concerns with his motor, and there were concerns of his level of engagement from, you know, time to time, possession by possession. Sometimes when he didn't have the ball, he would be a little bit just, you know, just standing around, just in the wrong place, just not engaged. He had a really terrific season in Indiana. I mean, as somebody who just, you know, went to a school in the Big Ten, I've watched this guy. I watched a lot of Big Ten games, and he was a really good player for Indiana. He was definitely their best player, and he just had a really much improved season, especially with his jump shot. You know, he shot it really well from 3 in Indiana. Now, the attempts were not the most, you know, that you could probably want. It wasn't like the biggest sample size, but the mechanics looked good. He shot the ball well from 3, and he definitely ran the floor harder than he did in Oregon. He played really, you know, well as far as running the floor, finishing in transition, and his biggest asset that he's going to bring for this team is with his rim protection. You know, I cannot tell you guys the amount of times that we have seen teams, you know, in the NBA go to a twin tower type front court, whether it was the Minnesota Timberwolves or anybody for that matter, even like the Boston Celtics, who not necessarily twin towers, but adding size in general is really what benefits a lot of these teams and benefit a lot of the teams that made runs this season. When you look at a team like Dallas, who added Derek Lively, they added PJ Washington and Gafford last season during the deadline, and then you look at Boston, who went out and got Kristaps Porzingis. You look at Minnesota, who obviously have, you know, and have had Cat and Rudy Gobert. So many of these teams have just gone out and gotten sizable forward/center players to put alongside their existing players in the front court. Miami has consistently had, you know, a philosophy of playing smaller. Haywood Highsmith was starting with us. Caleb Martin. You know, we had PJ Tucker at one point. We had Mo Harkless. We had Jay Crowder. They won big a couple of times. With, you know, Myers Leonard, Kelly Olynyk, a couple of times. But really, their identity has been playing small. So this is going to be a little bit of an adjustment that we're going to have to make. But it's an adjustment in the right direction because they're noticing how the NBA is evolving. The NBA is evolving into a game where size really does matter. You know, when you talk about the ability to play 2 guys together, Bam Adebayo and Kel'el Ware, who will do entirely different things defensively, but will also complement each other so well. Kel'el Ware as a rim protector, as a guy who can just flat out just protect the rim, block shots, deter shots, and then Bam Adebayo can be kind of that free safety role. When you look at how Giannis and Brook Lopez play together, and in Milwaukee, when you see, you know, how that combination works, it's going to be very similar, where you have Bam Adebayo playing that, you know, switchable free safety, roaming around. He's going to guard everybody else. And then you have a guy who you can funnel the defense or the offense down into the rim, and you can have a guy in Kel'el Ware who will be there to deter every shot that's coming down in the paint. So that is going to be a really, really big revelation for this defense. You're not going to have, players posting up the Miami Heat anymore, because a lot of times people would, force switches, and we would switch a 6'5" Caleb Martin or a 6'4" Haywood Highsmith, who are gritty defenders and they compete, but when you have a 6'8", 6'9" player at their position shooting over them, you can't really do much. So because of that, they went out and they addressed that size. They addressed the rim protection. Bam Adebayo is obviously not the biggest center, so they put a guy next to him who can cover the base there. And your defense will be immaculate, and offensively, I haven't even talked about how he's going to impact the team, but obviously I mentioned his shooting. I think he complements Bam really well. Bam can handle the ball a little bit. Bam can obviously do his thing. Kel'el Ware is just going to be a really good lob threat, and Kel'el Ware is going to be a guy who can just get it done in transition. He's going to be a guy who can pick and pop, pick and roll. Now, we're going to have to probably in the second round land a guy who can, feed both of these guys, Bam and Kel'el Ware, get a true playmaker in the second round. I'm probably going to do a video maybe where I talk about guys that I would like the Heat to get in the second round after this video. But I would definitely say, if I was hinting at it right now, just go out and get a guy who can just spoon feed these guys and get them the ball. Maybe a guy like a Zion Pullen or, KJ Simpson or Tristan Newton, somebody like that who can just get these guys the ball in the second round if you want to go get them easy shots at the basket. Now, what does this mean for the future of the Miami Heat? It means that the Miami Heat are going obviously in a much bigger direction. Talking about Bam Adebayo, he's obviously signed a 3-year extension. Super happy about that. He's here until I think 2029. Not 2029, 2027. I can't even count right now because I'm so excited about the Kel'el Ware pick. And then Jimmy Butler, there was a report from Shams saying that Jimmy Butler is not going to sign an extension with any team. He's not going to request a trade. He's just going to play his contract out right now with the Miami Heat. He's going to play the season out, and he's going to seek a big payday next year. So I'm assuming that means he's going to decline his player option at the end of the year and seek a longer-term payday. Even though his player option is for $52 million, he can seek a longer-term deal if he plays well this season. Now, again, I don't really mind this too much. I mean, at least, we have him for this year, and he's going to be motivated to play as many games as he can. That was the big question mark, is Jimmy Butler going to be available? Is he going to be able to play as many games as he needs to? Is he going to be engaged in the games that he plays in the regular season? If you have a 3-4-5 of Jimmy Butler who's engaged, Bam Adebayo and Kel'el Ware, I mean, defensively, that's really, really good. And then obviously you still have Rozier, you have Hero to work with. Now, obviously, I don't think that's good enough to win a championship. Maybe some other moves can be made when trading Hero or trading Terry, or just bolstering up that guard position. But if you get a engaged Jimmy Butler, this is the season to go all in, because Kel'el Ware can help you right now. I can see him having a Derek Lively impact, similar to what Lively, obviously they're different prospects, but the impact that you can see Kel'el Ware having, I think, could be very similar to the Derek Lively impact that he had with the Mavericks this season. So, yeah, I mean, I really do think that Jimmy Butler, he obviously wants to stay in Miami. He's made it clear. He said it. There's reports saying that he wants to be here. The only thing is, I think Miami's basically like, you know what, if you want an extension here, we're going to have to see if you can prove it, that you can play at this level. You can play at the level that you played at in these playoff series that you carried us for the past 2 seasons. So that is the situation. Like, if Jimmy Butler proves himself this year, he will probably get his contract extension with the Miami Heat. If not, then I think the Miami Heat will probably have to trade him at the deadline, because obviously you don't want to lose him out for nothing. You don't want to, lose him out in free agency for, another team. Like, you want to make sure that you get the value for Jimmy Butler if he's not going to be on the Miami Heat after this season. So you have some time to figure that out. You can kind of give Jimmy Butler a prove it type of year where he proves himself, and if he doesn't play up to his standard, or if he's showing signs of regression, then you go in the younger direction. You build with Bam Adebayo and Kel'el Ware. The good thing about this pick is that it not only helps you for the now, but it also sets you up for the future. You have your front court of the future. You still have Tyler Hero, whatever you want to do with him. You have Jaime Jaquez. You have Nikola Jovic. I would probably, I mean, I'm not sure if Kel'el would start day one. I would like to see him start day one. You know, Bam to the 4 is a movement that a lot of us have been pushing because naturally he came into the league as a 4. And I think it'll take a lot of pressure off of him. He won't have to guard bigger players all the time. He can play his game. He's a lot more adept guarding the faster, quicker, smaller players than guarding a bruiser down low because he's not the biggest center himself. So all in all, I think this is a really good pick for the Miami Heat. I mean, they really do really well in these draft situations, man. And I'm super happy about getting Kel'el Ware. Again, still questions to be answered about what else the Miami Heat are going to do. Obviously, in round 2, which is tomorrow, we're going to be probably talking about. I'm going to be, definitely making a video that's going to come out tomorrow about the prospects that I would like to see the Heat taken in round 2 with pick 43. But for now, enjoy this pick, man. Kel'el Ware is going to be a really good prospect. He needs to add some size. I think that's like the main thing that I would say that he needs to work on, adding some size because he's going to be playing the 5 position with the Heat. And if his motor is good, if his shot is good, if it looks like they buy the shot, even though he didn't take too many threes, he knocked them down. If they buy the shot, that's good enough for me because I know the Heat know their talent and scouting. You can say whatever you want about them with their acquisitions and with their ability to get and trade for assets and stuff like that. But when you talk about scouting, I don't think there's any other team that does it like the Heat. So very good pick. I'm super happy with this pick. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, man. And yeah, we'll see what happens at pick 42. Hopefully, the Miami Heat make a good pick there too, which I don't have any doubts that they will. But I'll definitely make a video about that tomorrow. That'll be coming out tomorrow morning because the draft is obviously at night. So stay tuned for that. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below about the Kel'el Ware pick, the Jimmy Butler news, the Bam Adebayo extension. What else do you guys want to see the Heat do? Tomorrow, what's your guys' wish list? And yeah, we're gonna wrap up the video here, man. Have a nice day. Welcome Kel'el Ware to Miami. Peace.